With the recent conclusion of the rlcs World Championship in Dallas, the first Rocket League World Champions have been crowned in over 2 years. Team BDS played some incredible Rocket League against some of the world's toughest teams to finally prove themselves and put their mark on the trophy. But BDS weren't the only team to perform incredibly at this event, with teams like the South American powerhouse Furia showing their true skill, and the monolith of G2 pushing all the way to the grand finals. Although, there was one fan favourite team that didn't perform the way most people expected. NRG, comprised of Squishy Muffins, Justin and GarrettG, are a team of crazy talent that have dominated the North American game for a very long time. Each of these players have incredible backstories to how they came to be in this position, with one being the Season 6 World Champion, one a rookie legend with the most iconic goal in history, and one the most persistent player in the game. As most people know, NRG, with the help of Turbo Pulsar, took the World Championship in 2019 in Madrid, and finally proved their incredible potential, as well as fulfilling the long-time dream of their team's glue, GarrettG. After appearing at 8 consecutive World Championships and finally winning it all, this was a peak for GarrettG and NRG. They couldn't have been looking better going into the next rlcs season, but hearts were broken when Season 9 LAN events were cancelled due to the pandemic. Events were played online within each region, and NRG made it to the Regional Championship for North America, but unfortunately they were knocked out by their arch nemesis G2 in the semi-finals. G2 then went on to win the North American title and put their name in contention for the best in the region. With the trade of Turbo Pulsar and the pickup of Cloud9's Squishy Muffins, things were changed up for NRG in the off-season. Despite this, NRG held their spot as one of the best teams in the world as they powered through the next season and managed to win the Regional Championship and put themselves back on top. As there had been no World Championship over the last 2 seasons, NRG were still considered the reigning World Champions, and this wouldn't change until just last week. The rlcs 21-22 season finally brought back in-person events, and allowed for competitive play between regions. As so much time had passed since NRG's Season 8 win, it's hard to tell whether they were still better than their EU counterparts, but all suspicions were thrown out when NRG proceeded to lose to the European giants of Team BDS 3 separate times throughout the fall major in Sweden, and placed second overall, with BDS taking the win. This trend continued, with NRG placing 9th to 12th in the winter major in LA, and being knocked out again by a European team, this time being Team Queso, who continued to place second overall in the event. The spring major in London was the same. Oh, actually, wait, sorry, they didn't even qualify. A sad truth was starting to become very apparent for NRG. They could no longer keep up with the other teams. As well as being beaten by teams from across the pond, NRG were now starting to lose at home. They didn't gain enough points from their placements in regional NA events to go to London, but they did have enough points to get to Dallas, so that became their focus. In Dallas, NRG qualified in a high enough spot to go straight through to the group stage, where they encountered similar hardships to their last appearances. They were 4-0'd by version 1, where they dropped into the lower quarterfinals, and managed to beat Renegades and Semper to qualify for the playoffs. Unfortunately, they met their old rivals of G2 in the playoff quarterfinals, where this happened.
Got the bump and Justin's denied by Atomic. Down to 5 seconds left, and the World Championship reign is all over. G2 gets FaZe in the semi.
BDS went on to win the World Championship, proving that their online dominance over Europe was nothing to be taken lightly. But what will NRG do now? With an aging roster and a coach that blurs the lines of coach and friend, things aren't looking good. Even G2's Chicago announced at Worlds that NRG aren't what they used to be.
Would you say that FaZe was your biggest NA rival?
I guess now it is, yeah. Used to be NRG, but I guess that's over now. But excited for the new. Come on.
Although I love them, personally, I see a roster change coming for NRG. Lots of other teams are picking up a young mechanical talent to add to their squad. NRG's mechanical talent is Justin, but he isn't very young anymore, and I don't really think he's feeling like his former self.
Lots of big NRG stuff. But the rest of the community, I don't think it's very... I think NRG is going to have the biggest move out of all the... 20-year-old Justin sweeping everybody? I don't know about that one, dude. I'm old, outdated, and outdated.
Lots of speculations are surfacing about this, with casters and ex-pros expressing their own opinions, with some taking very opposing views.
So I said NRG disbands, but how'd that happen? The only way that happens is if they retire, which they're not going to. I don't care what Justin says, he's never retiring, making that amount of money he makes per month. Like, he's never, like, he's just gonna troll you guys by saying he's retiring, but he never will. The only way he'll retire is if he, like, one day isn't on NRG, he's on, like a bad team, not making much at all. Right now, there's zero chance.
Yeah, NRG will do a roster change. I have no clue. I think they should if they want to win events.
I honestly don't know what I think of like NRG making a roster move. I genuinely think like they have a good chance of just staying together.
We haven't heard much from Squishy or Garrett on this topic, but I'm sure they're both harboring an opinion. The big question is, if a change is made, who will we see go? Justin is the youngest on the roster, but he seems to be struggling to continue to fill the shoes he made for himself in Season 8. Squishy is the oldest on the roster, but I see him having a few more good years in him, whether it will be with NRG or another team. He appears to have a strong mindset where everything, no matter win or loss, seems to just be learning for him. So I guess I see him only continuing to improve. Finally, GarrettG has had the longest career of all the NRG players, being in the rlcs since Season 1, meaning he's now played for 11 consecutive seasons. Satisfying his hunger for a World Championship in Season 8, I think it is entirely plausible that we see a move or retirement from GarrettG, although this is sad to say. After an incredible run between Season 8 and Season X, NRG might sadly be coming to a halt, but will this also be the end for the legend of GarrettG? I guess we'll soon find out. This has been Scuffo, thanks for watching.